All right? Terry's all right, start?
It looks good.
Yeah? Okay. 8 o'clock, right on schedule. If anyone's too warm, we're gonna open this door, and then we'll hear a little bit of noise. My name's Francisco. I produced this piece. I think all of you. And we're gonna introduce all of the actors. Terry Lee King directed it, and Terry's in the back of the room, right here. If anyone has any questions as we go along, please signal Vanessa.
Right here.
Vanessa Diamond is right here. If you have a question where the bathrooms are, if you have extra water, whatever it may be, okay? What time is it going to go to? We're going to do 2 acts from Small Craft Warnings, written by Tennessee Williams, around 1970. There's a little bit about it on the one-page handout. If you didn't get that, signal that you didn't get it, and Vanessa will give you one. Most of us come from an acting class that's given by Vincent Pastore. And many of us know each other through that class. And some of us from another class that's given by Vince Curatola, also an acting class. So this is really an extension of that acting class that we're doing a reading. It's an informal reading. And from this, we're trying to get feedback on whether you like the piece or not. If you like the piece, and we gel and work as a unit, then we may go further with it, try and negotiate the use of rights, and maybe take it further. Now, somebody in the audience, Sarah McDonald, already directed this play.
No, acted it.
Oh, acted?
Yeah.
I thought you directed it, I'm
I did
sorry.
not.
Acted in this play in Provincetown.
In the Texas Williams Festival.
Very good reviews, I think, right? So it's a lesser-known play by Tennessee Williams, but it's an excellent play. There are a lot of monologues in the play. At first, I found, ooh, this is a lot to listen to, but the monologues are very, very good. And
Don't spoil it.
I'm not going to spoil it, Terry. I usually don't spoil things. I try not to anyway. All right, so we're going to begin in a couple of minutes. And then once we start, we're going to go about 45 minutes for Act 1. There'll be a short break for about 10 minutes, just a bathroom break, or if you want to get some food or so. There's not going to be much time to talk about the play at that point. But after the second act, we're hoping that there's a Q&A. Whatever questions you may have. There are a couple of scenes in the play that there's some perhaps controversial stuff being discussed. And we would like to get your feedback on that. Don't forget, this play was written around 1970, so some of the ideas and attitudes are from back then. Okay? All right, now I'm going to introduce the cast, okay? And they're going to introduce themselves, their name, and the person that they're acting. Oh, and there's somebody importantly that I didn't introduce to all of you, is Joyce Ballin here, who played violin for us just now. Give it up for Joyce. And during the play, there's just one little section of the violin, and you'll see why it's important to hear a little bit of violin. So
I got a question.
Yes.
Who's sitting in that chair?
I don't think anyone's sitting in it now. You want it moved?
Sure.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
No, this is the good one.
We good?
Oh, you got that?
So are you ready for the lights to be shut off?
Yeah. After they introduce themselves.
Yeah, okay.
Good evening, I'm Lou Vituli and I'm playing Steve.
I'm Austin Monroe. I'll be playing Doc and stage directions.
Francisco, and I'm reading Leona.
Alicia Gian Chrysostomie, and I'll be reading Violet.
My name is Nando Prudham, and I'll be reading Bill.
My name is Robert Blackington. I'm reading Monk.
My name is Solomon Vieira, and I'm reading Quentin.
My name is Tom Pryor, and I am reading Bobby.
Please, everyone, make sure your phones are off completely, that you're on airplane mode, not just vibrate. Yeah, I should mention also, stage directions will be read by Austin Monroe, and there's one little section of a radio voice that that Austin's gonna read. And the people, I want to point out this, the people from Vincent Pastore's class, and if anyone wants to get in touch with any of these actors, please just contact me and I'll get you their information or get your information to them. The people from Vincent Pastore's class are Lou Vituli, myself, Alicia, Gian Gristostomy, Nando Prudham, Robert Leckington, Solomon Vieira, and Tom Pryor. We had a late drop for a person named Juan Daner from Vince Curatola's class, where I know Austin from. And I'm also in Vince Curatola's class. Okay?
Act 1, a bar along the Southern California coast. The curtain rises. The sound of ocean wind is heard. The stage is lighted at a very low level. The scene is somewhat a non-realistic evocation of a bar on the beachfront in one of those coastal towns between Los Angeles and San Diego. It attracts a group of regular patrons who are nearly all so well known to each other that it is like a community club. And most of these regulars spend the whole evening there. Ideally, the walls of the bar on all three sides should have the effect of fog rolling in from the ocean. A blue neon outside the door says Monk's Place. The bar runs diagonally from upstage to down. Over it is suspended a large varnished sailfish, whose gaping bill and goggle eyes give it a constant look of amazement. There are about 3 tables with red checked tablecloths. Stage right there is a jukebox, and at the wall in the right are doors to the ladies' and gents' lavatories. A flight of stairs ascends to the bar owner's living quarters. The stairs should be masked above the first few steps. Monk is behind the bar serving Doc. Monk, the bar owner, and Doc, who lost his license for heavy drinking but still practices more or less clandestinely, are middle-aged. At downstage table sits Violet, at her feet a battered suitcase fastened with a rope. Her eyes are too large for her face, and are usually moist. Her appearance suggests a derelict kind of existence. Still, she has about her a pale, bizarre sort of beauty. As Leona Dawson later puts it, she's like a water plant.
Notice? Over there.
The wheel of fortune keeps turning around.
Oh yeah, she is a noticeable thing. She has a sort of not quite withered appearance. Amorphous, that's the word. Something more like a possibility than a completed creature.
What I mean is the suitcase with her.
Oh yes, the suitcase. Does she think that she's in the waiting room of a depot?
I think she thinks she's moved in here.
Well, that's a possible problem for you there.
Goddamn right. I'm running a tavern that's licensed to dispense spirits, not a pad for vagrants. You see, they see those stairs. They know I live up there.
Yeah, they see those stairs to the living quarters above, and it hits them dimly that you might need the solace of their companionship up there some nights when they find it convenient to offer it to you. And I don't need to tell you that this solace of companionship is not the least expensive item on the shelves of the fucking supermarket a man of my age has to spend what's left of his life in. That solace, that comfort of companionship is on the shelves of the market even for me. But I tell you, the price is inflated on it. I had me one last summer. Remember that plump little Chicano woman who used to come in here with me some nights last summer? Little wet-leg woman. Nice boobs on her and a national monument for an ass. Well, she came to me for medical attention. Bill enters the bar. He comes up to it with an overly relaxed amiability, like a loser putting up a bold front. By definition, a stud. But what are definitions? Monk mechanically produces Bill's can of Miller's, but doesn't open it for him. She had a worms, died of rotten beef tacos, I reckon, or tamales or something. I diagnosed it correctly. I gave her a little bottle and a wooden spoon, and I said to her, "Bring me in a sample of your stool for lab analysis." She didn't know what I meant, language barrier. I finally said, "Senorita, bring a little piece of your shit in the bottle tomorrow." Bill is worried over the fact that his beer can is not opened and served.
Hey, Bill?
Some beginning of some romance, dewormed the lady, and later in place of payment. Jesus, what a love story. I had her all summer, but in September she met a good-looking young pimp who made her critical of me. She called me a dirty old man, so I let her go.
Hey, Monk, about that beer.
I don't remember you coming in here with a woman.
Well, we always sat at the back table arguing over the fair expense of her ass.
Jesus, Monk. How big a tab has the owner run up here, for Christ's sake?
He leans across the bar and snatches the can of Miller's from Monk's hand. Monk had ignored him only half deliberately and is annoyed by the grab.
Look, I don't run Leona's tab through a computer, since I know she's good for it. If you want the can open, give it back here. Now if it was your tab, not hers, I'd worry, okay? But since it's hers and not yours, I don't. No offense, no complaint.
Bill?
I could tell you some things.
Why don't you tell him to Violet? She's called you 3 times.
Hi, Ryan.
I had an awful experience today with Mr. Menzies at the amusement arcade. Oh, I don't know what to do. Min broke in last night. And Menzies said well, come over here so I can tell you. Oh, and bring a beer and a pepperoni and famish. Lonesome and famish.
You want me to solve both those situations for you?
Yes, please.
Another Miller's and a couple of Slim Jims.
Yeah, I got the message. Have you left me, Leona?
Bill, where's Leona?
Crying into a stew in a goddamn